10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
And what happened to them in game one? It seems maybe a little bit of drafting issues and also on over in that laning phase. Too much for them.
5 seconds
Give a
remaining.
different options. Gods, it looks like Cloud9 are already taking some time to think about the just first couple of bans, which most part has been very automatic for the team. That for me is a little bit concerned because they're like, what do we actually ban here? Do we still ban away the Coddle? Looks like they're going to opt to ban away the Druid this time around, which what's left now?
Yeah. The Slaughter, okay, yeah, that was. It's nice to see a series with less Slaughter at least now with a ban on that. But I think Cloud9 were a bit slow to start the second game, so perhaps the slow draft is just one of their players needing or wanting a bit more time, and they're just like, all right, just pick a bit slower, and we'll take a bit of a breather after getting stomped as badly as they did. Jumping right into the next game with no break whatsoever doesn't really seem like the best approach after losing in such one-sided fashion. I mean, after losing in any fashion, you lose a long, grueling game, it's the same thing. You want to kind of take that breather, settle down, and kind of be like, okay, let's go to the next game now with a clear head.
Liquid's turn to pick.
Just something different, I think, is what I take away from this, and where it's like Cloud9 is like, all right, let's mix things up, pick a different type of support, something that can be a bit greedy if you want to jungle at it. It does have a bit more laning presence than what we saw last game, and also will keep Liquid fully guessing as far as what Cloud9 are going into. Based on it, I mean, it's a Crystal Maiden. You're not going to counter a Crystal Maiden with your draft, that's for sure. So Liquid will just pick to their own strengths and go back to the Weaver once again.
Liquid's turn to
Cloud9 is the second pick as the Crystal Main, but 9 immediately has to Joe Enigma, which we saw yesterday or
no. Radiant team back.
So I was like, all right. I'm watching him play. It's like, all right, this looks like something Cloud9's played in scrims. They like to 5-man around. It seems Hester knows just how to play this in the lane. And then I see that tweet, I'm just start laughing. I'm like, all right. He's found a new hero he's good at.
I was inspired by Hester Joe. Yesterday we were playing the Battle Cup. And
10 seconds remaining.
Enigma off lane. It does feel pretty good. I have to say, like, solid laning phase. You just keep on denying the range creep, so the lane pushes into you. If it's a tough lane, you can just go jungle with those Eidolons, wait for the wave to push into you. If you actually get a successful block on like the easy camp or even the hard camp, and those camps blocked, it feels like the lane is just going to be total free farm for Enigma at all times. Like you have to have very active supports to be able to deal with the farm he's going.
Yeah, and that's Hester was getting both the best of both worlds. He was farming the lane, denying the range trips, and then also farming the jungle. Like he'd farm both jungle camps, pick up the banner rune, and then go to the lane as the wave got to his tower to farm like a couple of creep waves. So the mech timing with Arcane Boots was, and we'll see what Liquid have in mind to try and stop or pressure it, whether it's going to be trying to pressure the tower a bit more since the creeps are being pulled back towards it, doing early rotations to block some of those Enigma camps around that offlane secret shop. They need to get up in the Enigma space, or they need to win some of the other lanes.
Grifos get taken away from team again. Disruptor Viper ban. What a baby night specialties that mid Viper would have been one of the better heroes against the potential Wisdual.
Yeah, and I think you're just like, let's not give him a comfort hero that he can quote-unquote cheese us with a bit. I mean, you kind of just go for those early stat items, get us Dragonlance, Treads, Manta, whatever it may be, and just start pushing down towers as we've seen Cloud9 do a few times. So it looks like more similar to what Cloud9 were doing yesterday with this draft. At least that's what Liquid's expecting as well, based on the Viper ban. See what kind of substitute mid-hero they consider for him. The sniper's still in the pool. That's something Baby Knight's always played a lot of if they want to go into some kind of like ogre sniper type draft. But plenty of options. It's still a very open pool as far as that's concerned.
Team Liquid not really locking anything down either with their Venture Spirit pickup, as some additional minus armor is welcome from a support position if you do Weaver, and simultaneously safely in Venture Spirit and turn aggressive push lineup for Liquid. Wait and see. Cloud9 have their opportunity to respond. Dazzle's still out there in the pool, but
Dazzle CM seems kind of lackluster. But we've seen a lot of these 4-position Dazzles like today and yesterday, where the hero just gets some good farm and it has a greater impact. So I mean, it's not completely out of the picture. They've already got the kind of heal and sustain from the Enigma, so perhaps they look for something with a bit more utility. Not sure what that's going to be. The obvious choices, the Earth Spirit, the Slaughter, have both been banned out, so a bit more limited there.
They picked up their Bane in their DAC match. Do you remember what that was matched up against?
Synderen played a Bane. Did Cloud9 also?
Maybe they did. Maybe it was Nip. Oh wow, Bounty Hunter. Huh.
More active 4-position. Not quite like the disruptive 4-position I expect, in the sense like he's going to be initiating, but he's disruptive in a very different way, but a very effective way.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm wondering how much this Bounty Hunter, maybe
remaining.
this is something they've done before against Wisp. I wonder how well the Bounty Hunter disrupts the Wisp, because we know he's going to pick up an early bottle, and he's going to move around between lane to lane. He's going to try and grab these bounty runes for the constant sustain that he can lend to mostly the mid lane, but some other lanes as well. And maybe Bounty Hunter can actually stay ahead of that. Maybe Bounty Hunter can actually count. Naga Siren, 4th pickup.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. The other nice thing is just finding the eye. Often he's behind enemy lines, but being able to just get in deep and get your team vision can help solve that IO problem where you're trying to initiate on someone, they're just constantly getting tethered up, overpowered, and then relocated out if they need. So we'll see. You kind of want like a gap closer to go with that if that's the case, which Cloud9 would have to get for either their mid or their carry, and that's exactly what they get. Here we go.
Now
we get a Meepo game.
Got a real game.
This is good. This is going to be fast paced from Cloud9, and that's something which this is like the complete opposite of their last game. Meepo, you're looking to end the game by 25 minutes typically. At least the way the Meepo's currently played, with like the treads, double dragon lance, get dagger, and then just snowball from there. I like Meepo against Naga too. I feel like the pace of the game with Meepo.
Reserve time.
Yeah, you definitely come online about the time that Naga Siren's picking up that Radiance, and Meepo just starts taking over the whole entire game and the whole map from there. Naga Siren struggle to successfully pull that next round of items without
Radiant
spamming.
ban.
And no AoE, no team fight. Like, what is the Meepo counter? Like, against Meepo, you either want like single target burst damage or ideally AoE stuns and control, and that's two things Liquid have 0 of currently.
10 seconds remaining.
Jeez, I'm not sure. Sven is like one of the past Meepo counters, but
maybe
I
they
don't
turn
think
this
you got
Naga
the Sven
Siren
with the Naga.
What if they turn the Naga Siren into a support though and run Vengeful Spirit? How does that
Venge carry and then pick a mid. Yeah, I think it's possible. I guess they're likely looking for a mid, and then that just means they're playing at a faster tempo by swapping the Venge and the Naga. So it doesn't change what their last pick necessarily is going to be, but I think that may suit them a bit more, because I think this Enigma is just going to free farm away in the off lane, either through the jungle or the lane itself, get a really fast mech, and then if you need a pipe or a Crimson Guard, you get that, and then suddenly you're 5-manning with this really scary Meepo and this Enigma who just provides this incredible teamfight presence, and Liquid don't have a good answer for that, and that's where the Venge core seems to fit quite well. And that would have actually been one of the more disruptive heroes for the Meepo in his laning stage, as well as the overall game plan Cloud9 where you get this, you hit this timing, and that's where Tinker maybe has
10
Boots of Trouble's
seconds
blink and can
remaining.
actually defend some of those pushes and keep away from you.
5 seconds remaining.
So both teams looking for mids. Maybe Knight, what is the hero
Reserve
of choice?
5 seconds remaining.
Poker's still out there, but I was actually
Okay.
feeling Queen of Pain maybe for Liquid because I did
Yeah,
feel like they needed a
so was
faster
I.
tempo, but
Yeah.
and Cloud9 gonna take it from them.
Do they want Shadow Fiend, perhaps? Maybe that takes... I mean, Shadow Fiend with Naga. If you're doing Shadow Fiend, you're doing it with a Venge core. I don't think you want to do that with a Naga core. I mean, they did do that the other day, but I don't think this Cloud9 draft lets you get away with it the way the
5
NIP
seconds
draft
remaining.
let you get away with that. Because this draft will take towers and really push fast.
Reserve time.
So SF or let's see, Sniper and Invoker. If we're running a Vengeful Spirit core, if we're running a Naga Siren core, we want something really fast, don't we? Something
Yeah.
quick tempo.
Puck, perhaps?
Yeah,
or-
Puck's the only hero I could think.
There's like a kind of intermediate one, which is like the OD. It's not exactly fast-paced, but it's also not too greedy. Otherwise, you're looking at some maybe like gimmicky, completely out there mid laners that you just wouldn't normally expect.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I can only think of like if it's Naga
5
Siren core, I can
seconds
literally
remaining.
only think of Puck that I feel. Oh, tiny.
There's the gimmicky type mid where you go
Yeah.
something completely different, something snowbally, something that with burst damage, kill potential on Meepo, and I think this is Liquid like this Meepo. I think this Meepo pick like straight up outdrafted them. But now this is putting Miracle in a position where he can potentially outplay Cloud9 by being on this tiny. So, and also I think it's a great hero for against Meepo too. But I think if Cloud9 play their draft right, they have the draft advantage.
On the bounty hunter and how impactful he is. This strategy. Gonna have Enigma,
10
who should just be able to
seconds
free
remaining.
farm no matter which or support. I don't think that's
5 seconds
much of a
remaining.
problem here. So we're gonna have fast mech, fast sustain items, maybe even well, everything looks pretty good here for Cloud9 in this draft.
Yeah, the Meepo pick for the most part's been one of their go-to successful heroes. Most teams are actually first stage banning it against Cloud9, and that's what we saw in both games yesterday, I believe. So it has been a go-to throughout WESG. They were playing it quite a bit, so definitely see this as a comfort draft for C9. I mean, the Enigma's a new hero they've been running, but they have 2 wins quickly with it, and I like how the hero pairs up with Meepo. Perhaps you need to go for an earlier blink to be able to keep up with the Meepo. Like I'd like to see like a mech into blink before you go for like that pipe Crimson Guard secondary defensive item. But Queen of Pain works well with the Meepo. Like you've got very active, aggressive core heroes, and Bounty Hunter to scout things out, be a nice kind of visionary hero. So this C9 draft works very nice.
What does Liquid have to do? I mean, we obviously know Miracle's got a snowball. GH is going to be a big part of that. What about the side lanes here? What do, well, Naga Siren's just farm. What does Kuro have to do in this game? What does Mind Control have to do in this game to inhibit Cloud9's clear progression?
Yeah, I think Mind Control is perhaps the one player who can really step it up and cause problems. If he can be very annoying and disruptive with the supports, keep them busy, make sure that the other lanes can have a better time because the CM, the Bounty Hunter, preoccupied with the Weaver down bottom. I think that's where Liquid can perhaps try and make things swing their way. We may see like a early surprise rotation from like Kuro or GH towards that bottom lane, where Mind Control tries to bait in some aggression, then you turn it around. Using like a tether or using just a smoked up Vengeful Spirit Sing behind him. So this Liquid offlane is where they can look to be disrupted. Alternatively, they may just decide it's a lane that they're going to struggle in too much, but I'd like to see Mind Control get aggressive. He's got the double regen, Tango Salve on the career, so he's going to be playing to stay in this lane and have as much presence as possible.
Yeah, you know, I like that idea quite a bit, Gods. In fact, I would like it even more if Kuro actually, because I'm not sure how well his time is going to be spent up at that top lane. If Hesta Joe is playing relatively back, and then later on at the levels, he starts getting those high levels of supports can actually fight into that. So maybe his time is better spent in the bottom lane, facilitating Mind Control aggression and
seconds
put
to battle.
more pressure there. And that could even potentially turn into a tri-lane at times. With the Wisp moving around with this bottle could absolutely tether in and help Liquid get even more aggressive.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I don't see the Radiance timing of Naga Siren necessarily being the deciding factor. Like, Matu should be, even if he's not getting much help against Enigma, once he has his Arcane Boots, he falls back to the jungle, farms up his jungle, and will just play defensively. We'll see him get either a 16-minute Radiance, if he gets some support perhaps. If he doesn't get much support, maybe it's an 18, 19-minute one, but that to me is not a problem. The problem's going to be this Meepo and how fast the tempo he's going to set. So helping out the other lanes is going to be much more to Liquid's benefit. And that's exactly what Kuro's already doing. He's setting up in the trees, maybe expecting like an early CM poke and harass, and if CM tries to harass and zone mind control, suddenly Bench comes out and you found yourself an early first blood for Liquid. And with that said, Rise is like, he's just done.
Yeah. If CM doesn't show, and they get the right kind of block here, which mind control is doing an okay job of, they might be able to get a lot of damage onto the Meepo as well. Baby Knight's pushed back from there. The Ace be gone on here pretty shortly by Kuro. Early proof being used.
Yeah, Kuro's waiting for his CM to show up, I think. But once CM doesn't, I think they're likely, like you say, just go for the harass. You may as well take good swarm early on. Ace will take a lot of damage to this.
Yeah, that was smart. I thought maybe they were going to wait for level 2 just to be able to have the swarm, but I think you're right. They're waiting out the CM, and if CM doesn't show, then why can't mind control get level 1 swarm? Mid, Baby Knight in a little bit of trouble. Can't quite get the distance for the toss. Still tries to get it. They're actually dancing around Miracle and GH quite nicely, but Noya, he's too scared to go for the kill on GH. He knows that Tiny's going to be able to respond. Instead, just does damage done. Call it at that. The two of them are actually going to shrine up together. And eat the... Get it. Run away, Noya. All right, he's good. He's good. He kills the counter wards. Maintains presence in this lane once again.
That's a great start for C9. Liquid use their shrine very early on. They get one singular CS on the Tiny. So Baby Knight with 8 CS, 3 denies is winning that battle so far. That'll change as Miracle gets some alone time and gets a creep wave to himself now. But this mid lane, I like what Noi has done to help stabilize this rough IO Tiny lane.
Not only is Vengeful Spirit, who's currently gone on by Noya and Rise, they might actually be able to get this kill. The help of GH, though, will put a stop to that. I thought maybe with the Orb
Ace is coming in.
Ace, he's actually going to be able to get the net. There it is. With the poof, they should be able to finish off Kuro, and that will be your first blood for Ace. Maybe a second blood. GH does have a tether up. Help me, Miracle. He does.
That is, I mean, I talk about Meepo being fast-paced. I don't expect a 2 minutes level 3 Meepo to rotate mid, but that's exactly what he just did.
Certainly not. Mind Control even tried to go over and get one of the supports, but of Cloud9 staying grouped up together. Nice.
How's our top lane going? Looks like the straight up 1v1. That's what we talked about. Matu get denied a bit here, but realistically, Avenger's not going to be able to zone out or stop Enigma doing what he's going to do. So they just give Matu a straight 1v1. He's actually winning the CS battle so far.
Yeah, he gets the early PMS, has high armor, and then he has the Riptide in the way to affect those Eidolons too for extra CS. They shouldn't have issues in one.
Yeah, he can really get up in the Eidolons' faces and threaten to kill them quite easily. One of the better heroes to kill Eidolons with. You don't take too much, like the physical damage is much better for killing them than magic damage. The 50% magic resistance on them. Not the most effective way, so lowering their armor, the magic damage from Riptide, but lowering their armor for the right clicks.
Edge mind control there, drop the counter ward, looked for the frostbite. If they got that, then they'd be able to get the follow-up Earthbinds and finish off. Barely gets out with Shukuchi. Now a top lane, seeing if maybe get a quick kill on it has to go, though I am doubtful.
I mean, no ensnare. I don't even think it's worth getting a point in ensnare again. It's like, you just want to focus on your farm.
They just burst down GH, and now Miracle's in trouble. Noya, he has an extra bit of burst damage. He's got the Orb of Venom. Miracle's just hoping for a 4-minute rune. Won't get that much. He's going to look for the Roshan tonight, but can't get there. A Shuriken finishes him off. Baby Knight and Noya are destroying the Tiny Wisp.
Yeah, that is a disaster of a lane at this point for Liquid. Baby Knight farming very well, getting not the best early levels since he's been splitting it, which is not something Queen of Pain necessarily wants to do, but the kills have been fantastic for them. Bottom lane now, Ryze looking for mind control with the double ensnare. Uh-oh.
Got him. Mind control. Moved up. Another net. Down. And I'm surprised he's caught up by that one after he initially dodged the kind of ward and frostbite attempt. They find the kill and...
Yeah, it was the invis rune from CM, so got caught by... Yeah, it was just a CM like camping on top of him with the invis. And didn't have vision of that rune to know it was coming.
Miracle and GH, though, they always have the recovery mechanism. Looks like they're going to go on Baby Knight again. Last time they actually died because of it, but this time around with level 5, they do have the burst damage to actually get that Queen of Pain. Lane is back in their favor. All back on the speed up.
Yeah, he really needs the raindrops against the tiny combo. It blocks a lot of the damage with that toss being negated. It means you're not going to die from full HP of the combo, so... He's queued it up already in his quick buy.
A bit more concerning. Feeling. Also Hester Cotton, who's free farming. Or maybe 4-1, but it's much more than that for Cloud9. Hester Joe may be caught, or no?
I don't think he can get caught. Like, Kuro gets a stun off. There's no way you kill Hester Joe. I feel like Kuro is... He's not achieving anything in terms of posing kill threat. I guess he just wants to get some levels and farm. Like it looks like he's just going for pulls and some stacks here or there maybe. Like he's farming some neutrals, but realistically there is nothing they can do to kill Hester Joe. You're very close to a tower. He can turn Black Hole the Naga with a TP rotation in from like a Meepo, and then suddenly you're looking at turnaround kills. So this top lane doesn't seem like somewhere where Kuro can get much done other than which perhaps is fine in itself.
Needs some help. He needs more than just GH. They do have the magic wand. They're going to turn on Baby Knight with the help of Kuro. They may actually be able to claim this one kill and turn it into 2. Kuro here with the magic missile gets blocked up a little bit. He doesn't have the mana. They do get another turnaround kill on Baby Knight. This Queen of Pain just keeps on getting bursted down by the Tiny. The Fierce range up seems not to be enough for him. Or he needs the tankier upgrades and treads.
I don't think going on a Tiny who's got the HP pool that Tiny has is not something you can bring down with IOCing behind. Perhaps they thought GH was out of the lane, but just slightly underestimate the Tiny's tankiness there, and the turnaround. Like Kuro didn't even throw any spells onto that Queen of Pain. Quap died with or without that TP in really, and it's unfortunate kill to be giving up. With how well the Meepo's doing, and as well as the Enigma, I think Baby Knight doesn't need to go for that kind of aggression. The game is looking in a pretty good state regardless.
Walking back out to the top. Do you think his presence, early on in laning phases, work, but do you think that Meepo's just too strong for to have a presence bottom lane and here at top, spending his time?
At this point, if you want to go to Meepo's lane, you got to bring 3 heroes probably. You've got to bring Tiny for one thing. Like he's the only... Any chance of contesting Meepo's lane involves Tiny. Weaver's just down here trying to put together some semblance of farm. I think Weaver Venge cannot kill Ace, that's for sure. He'll just turn around on them. Again, looking for Miracle. I do not know about this.
Damage on Baby Knight. They think that'll make the difference. They're going to go for GH in the back lines. Baby Knight turns around, one-shots him. He does have Sonic Wave, but the physical damage from Miracle is rapidly threatening him. The toss is coming up. Miracle attempted to go for it with Noya there. Tried to toss him over to the Queen of Pain, couldn't quite get it, and Baby Knight will survive this time around.
Meanwhile, bottom, it looks like Ace got the solo kill on the Weaver. That was with his third Meepo, so...
Got a Miracle again. They're also going on top. Baby Knight, can he get this hit? No, the magic wand. He blinks forward and will claim it. That's a big kill. They finally bring him down. Meanwhile, on top lane, they did get Hester Joe with the help of GH, but that also cost Miracle. Very likely. Without the Wisp turnaround. Not much Tiny.
It does feel like the mid lane from C9 has been playing a bit aggressive, but there it pays off. Like the IoT being top meant that Tiny was well and truly alive, and Baby Knight gets good value out of the end of his double damage rune to find that kill. TP on top, they could go for a black hole, and yet Matu knows it. He immediately sleeps before the TP even completes. He doesn't go for that. He gets Malefist, black hole. I mean, he's probably going to die there, so good defensive play.
Cloud9 poking at Liquid, it seems, in the right areas here, getting that kill on any trying to shut down this combination before they get the big power spike when GH has his level 6, and that's when Ace has to be a little bit more scared. He's level 11 right now with his treads and dragon. Like, he's not going to go for the double dragon lances, or go for the...
Initially had the second one queued up, but it feels like he can get active. Get active around the Enigma mech type. That's where very strong. So having the blink initiation, I mean, his team doesn't have initiation. That's what the Meepo is meant to be. Queen of Pain doesn't want to go blinking in first in these fights, and we'll see him probably start rotating towards that off lane to pair up with Hestejo, who has taken that top tier 1 tower.
Akkad trying to sap all that experience, gets a dust. They'll claim that extra kill. Back over the top lane. Hestejo turns around, gets some damage on the curl.
Ace with the blink. Ooh. In on towards mind control. Didn't actually find the ensnare though. This is danger time for Liquid. The blink has been scouted, so there's no like surprise first blink. I think it would have been maybe a better call to go top with that blink. You know the sleep's on cooldown, and Matu would have no escape from a TP in, blink and snare. That's a dead Naga.
Or Baby Knight low on the back lines, but Miracle is serving as a bodyguard here. GH will be medic. Ace is going to come in with his blink dagger, but Liquid are backing away. They don't actually have oh, they do actually have some
structures are fortified.
wards, or all Liquid wards centered around potential rotation bottom lane. And
yeah, they were pinging out Ace's position, seem to be aware of it, but it does mean they'll give up this mid tier 1 tower. So, I mean, for Cloud9, like, you want to be aggressive, find kills, but if Liquid aren't biting, just take those towers and back off. So they won't get the last hit. I think Quap thought she had it with that last right click, slightly overestimated her physical damage, but either way, tower still goes down, map control going slightly more in Cloud9's favor.
Hestejo's feeling good about the space that he's been granted after this. He's already taken the tower, has mech and runes. Favor, we'll see if he picks up the talked about, add a little bit of mobility. Stain hero to help out. Cloud9 are going to try and use this Meepo. Going to keep him farming up for now, or going to try and add some point of aggression in.
I'd like to see some points of aggression soon. They've got the Enigma ready to go, really. I don't think there's like a blink or a pipe that you're waiting for anything. At least take these like tier 1 bottom towers. And yeah, Enigma's TPing down bottom. They want to push and fight around the mech, as well as this Meepo blink dagger.
I think Cloud9
really
have to
go ahead.
I think they either have to be like 5-manning, or they have to be really active there in Meepo and being the ones getting, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for these relocated attempts. Tiny blink dagger finds a pick off from the CM, and this is why you need to see that man for C9.
The tiny blink is nowhere near as effective as an item when you're 5-manning. It's the same with like the Slack Shadowblade. Like if you start 5-manning down towers, a Slack Shadowblade or a tiny blink is not going to be able to just engage into you. It puts your life in danger. Tiny doesn't even have any escape once he's committed, unless you want to commit like a relocate to pull him out. So it should be pretty straightforward towers to claim at this point. So and the other really good, I think the useful hero they've got for these pushes is Noya on the Bounty Hunter. He can just get in behind these towers. Like, yeah, maybe here or there he'll get caught out by a dust or run into a sentry and die for it, but bottom lane they found Venge and possibly mind control as well.
Now that track is going to be a big kill. They do have a relocate, and they're going to be able to pop Hestejo despite the mech going down. Now Noya and Ace may not have the damage together to be able to bring down Miracle, but they could definitely get GH before he can relocate them out. Now the poof forward. Nice play by Ace. Excellent Meepo control. Gets the 1 kill, starts the poof, and blinks forward with his main Meepo to find the primary damage dealer.
Very nicely done, and there's, Tiny had to go for the Enigma because that black hole was coming in and wanted to burst. I mean, you've got to focus one target, so the mech, you don't get full value out of it. You don't want to spread that damage. They take the Enigma out, make sure there's no black hole in the picture, but at that point, there's nothing left of the Meepo, so it's really tough for Tiny this game because there's too many threats. Like, you use your combo on a Queen or an Enigma, Meepo's going to recap. If you use on the Meepo, then you're potentially not going to kill him, and then Enigma's going to turn it around with a black hole, so... we'll even see Enigma respond to what just happened by picking up a Vitality booster. Just raw survivability is, I think, all the Enigma and Queen of Pain need to go for. I'm a bit surprised to see the Orchid build up. Oh, Ace just continue to wreak havoc. I feel like the Orchid, I don't know, I feel like Baby Knight just wants to tank up this game more than anything, personally.
Baby Knight and Hester Joe need to be able to solve that problem. Hester Joe seems to be on the right point. Not sure about Baby Knight and his choice of the...
Yeah.
Hell, I would feel better about it.
It could work for picks, but...
The Veil of Discord still seems like a powerful item. They're going to go for Miracle here, but misses out on the initial net here. GH, relocate, and long-range tether brings him out just in time. I like that GH played the distance game there, holding onto the relocate and tether some time, just because he was afraid of Ace actually catching him. Going to be able to get GH most likely. No, a long-range tether away to Kuro.
Oh, snare somehow. Okay.
And he is out, so they're good. These kills are all the more important because we can't forget about that track Bounty Hunter brings to the table, all that extra gold that Ace is getting.
The Radiance is online, somewhat reminiscent of that game yesterday, a couple days ago from Liquid, where they felt like they were getting beat down badly until they got that Radiance and just turtled up, and that's probably going to be a similar call this game around. Question is, how much damage can Cloud9 do? They're about to pick up an Aegis on the Meepo, and with this Mech Vanguard on Enigma, they have a very potent 5-man push.
Mind Control knows he's thrown the Swarm into the pit, has found Cloud9 doing Roshan, but can Liquid actually contest this? I think they can. They've already got the Aegis in hands, though. Matu holding onto the song. He's going to be able to go for Hester Joe first. Miracle helps him out, lending a helping hand in the toss. We'll be able to finish off that off-laner, take away the sustain, but now Kuro's going to be caught by Ace until the sleep goes down, but Kuro's still going to tick down. And Shadow Strike is able to finish him off alongside the Meepo's Geo Strike damage. Rest of Liquids. I thought they were going to full escape here. Miracle's still trying to play around, see if he can get a pick with this Shadow Blade. Oya has spotted him out, though. If he's not careful, he's going to get jumped on. That Blink Dagger is going to get disabled. He turns around, gets a 2-man avalanche. Can they still catch him with the Shuriken? Again, binding them more time now. C9 has caught him. Ace is on top of him. Will manage to pick up that kill and pull the rest of the move back.
Yeah. He even preemptively TP's home, knowing that he probably wants to heal up, ready for the Enigma respawn. Try and take some more objectives on the map. They want to just keep on going, running at Liquid before this Naga becomes too much of a problem. And right now with the sleep on cooldown, it's very difficult for Matu to get involved in a fight. Cloud9 may not even have to go for all the T2s and tries. They could theoretically threaten to go for that high ground play fairly soon. They've got level 3 Meepo ultimate, and they're about to pick up that first Ethereal Blade. That's where there's a big boost in Meepo's right-click damage, especially onto buildings. With double Dragon Lance, Ethereal Blade, buildings melt to this Meepo.
Gonna chop him down. Team Liquid don't have too many options, but
he's hunting top.
Reaver's not gonna be caught underneath that tower. All around, but Mind Control away into the trees. Good, another she and up that hunt.
There's no Meepo mid now, though.
On a hunt of his own. Again, can't find anything with this Shadow Blade. They're so desperate. Liquid, you can see a very clear game plan, especially with the Shadow Blade on Liquid. They want to try and split C9 up as much as possible and get these occasional pickoffs with an overwhelming amount of damage. But now Matu may have been caught. He does have a Song of Siren. He's baiting right now. He wants Miracle to be able to come in and get one of these quicker kills. But Matu, oh no, he doesn't have it in time. He gets taken out by Ace. Now GH is going to be the next target. He has a track on him, so he's going to die. Miracle now, with no longer having a clear escape mechanism, is going to have to use his Shadow Blade to try and get away. Fortunately, C9 not having the vision there on their 2 cores.
Oh, see him as a sentry? Not going to get right.
And I thought Matu's Song of Siren was already up, but needed a few more seconds. Rough.
Yeah, those are key kills. Take the Naga out for a little while. Find a couple extra pick-off bounties, TPing to the shrine, and will immediately go on Mind Control, but perhaps not the result he was hoping for with that TP in. Enigma's mech is coming to perhaps save his life, and
get the heal
good
now.
Luck all
there goes the shrine, and he absolutely could, but the Orchid's going to come in first. Baby Knight has the control there. Mind Control, they need a little bit more, and that's where the Black Hole comes in. Sonic Wave will be held on to.
Oh, Korea. Miracle No, it's there. It doesn't look like it. May just be going for the kills and pickoffs. That Weaver's being so annoying with the split push. In my mind, like, using a black hole there is fine. They don't need it push. It's much more about just killing these split pushes than it is having a black hole to push with. The ace with the Aegis is more than enough.
Miracle, make up your mind, homie. He's like, he couldn't decide. He's like, Courier or Rise, Courier or Rise. Doesn't end up getting either. Now maybe he can get Rise. The problem is, Rise has actually got enough HP to survive through the combination. So if he's not careful...
He's got an IO coming in now. Yeah. I know we have the Shadow Blade damage.
There we go. Physical damage. You're reckoning. Alright, Shrine's gonna go down.
Gets
First
out.
one.
Doesn't look like they'll go for the high ground push off of this Aegis. I think they'd rather just try and find a fight or some kind of a scrappy brawl where they can just have Meepo go in first and force Tiny like to use a combo or even like an IO relocate save and find a few additional kills. But Ace is in position top, and okay, that is a quick, fast kill.
Kills on
Great
mind control, because we said we needed him to be an aggressor and we needed him to make use of his mobility, especially against this Meepo, never to be caught and to be playing in Cloud9's face, but he has been caught a number of times. It looks like Miracle's going to try and set up on Baby Knight with this combination. The toss forward, damage is barely enough. Now they can catch Rise as well, as Matu and GH were set near that tier 1 tower. Noya's coming in with Hesta Joe and Ace thinking they can fight this one, but there goes the Song of Siren. Now, if they bring more, they're not gonna fight into that. Ace is still too big, and he has that Aegis, even with the numbers advantage.
That is that fight, well, not even fight. That pick off there is like prime example of where I'm not a fan of Baby Knight's build this game.
Oh, misses the Avalanche a little bit, but can they still go on Ace? They've got him low.
No
Just
Aegis.
lost the Aegis. The swap into the stun. Nice play from Kuro, getting the distance needed for the disable. Now they go for more. Hesta Joe up next with mind control. Shikuching on in. They get the wisp balls. Wait, no, the relocate back. That's not what she wanted to do, GH. Let mind control go for this one. Miracle is still going to be able to close that gap. Gets a combination onto him. They're playing a little bit scared, though. Afraid of maybe the Sonic Wave, as Queen of Pain has come in and tried to go for Miracle with the Orchid onto Kuro, but now that silence is gone. He's going to be able to hit the stun, followed up by the Ensnare. Can Matu do this? Sonic Wave will finish off Kuro, but Matu gets a bigger kill in that Queen of Pain. Matumba Man will get out. What a big turnaround. A nasty engagement. The Team Liquid in and out are able to find multiple pickoffs.
I mean, that right there is the biggest downside of Meepo as a hero. You snowball, you get really far ahead. One kill, suddenly you've given away a 1,000 gold streak, and he has an 80-second respawn time as well, because he's level 22 at 21 minutes in the game. That's ridiculous. More than a level a minute. That is some absurd rate of experience gain. And he's suddenly put on the sidelines, and that's a big dent in C9's aggression. I think C9 are going to have to look at that next Aegis as looking to close out this game. They do not want this game to drag. Talk about Meepo trying to end games around the 25-minute mark, and we are approaching that point. Tiny's just getting a lot of free picks. I mean, Miracle's played very well. Definitely definitely worthy of some props there, but I feel like the itemization on the Queen of Pain has enabled Miracle to find much easier kills, and Cloud9 have just been a bit too slid up and presented too many opportunities for him, but they do seem to know where he is right now. Yeah.
But they don't see him. Lights on through. The dust is going to come in too late. You know, it's funny because I felt like Cloud9 were doing very well for themselves, preventing the pickoffs early on. Seemed to have a pretty ironclad defense for the most part, and then as Liquid kind of kicked up the tempo, they got more and more frantic with their movement all over the map. It seems like C9 lost some of their vigilance in protecting themselves. Thanks.
Yeah. And Miracle's like positioning, he's always like on the enemy side of the map, like behind towers. Like it's these kind of places where you're just not expecting him to be, and you're not really scouting out those areas. Like you about the Bounty Hunter being very good for the 5-man push. He wants to be on the enemy side of the map scouting. He doesn't want to be posturing himself defensively or keeping tabs of the Tiny, nor can he because of constant Shadowblade used to move around the map. And perhaps we see like a fast gem pickup on someone like Noya just so we can roam around and figure out exactly where Miracle is, because right now he is completely destroying them through his movement.
They force the rotations bottom lane. They even throw out a dust just to see if Bounty Hunters around. Maybe they'd go for this Meepo atop, but they want some extra help. Now Matu's here, so surely with the relocate in, they can actually kill Ace. He's going on to mind control, but first he gets the time-lapse off. So now C9 in some serious trouble. Ace trying to get out with one of his meepos, but the other ones, I don't think they're going to be able to poof out in time. One of us ensnared, and there it is. Pick off they needed. They force the rotations bottom, find Ace at top. They're going to lose GH most likely. Kuro actually coming in, trying to lend his buddy a helping hand, but it's just going to be 2 supports that to die. And that is a lot, considering the track kills that also come into play because of that one. Would have been so much sweeter just to let GH die.
Good call not to bring Miracle back in. It was one of those scenarios where you're like, all right, we killed the Meepo, we can bring the Tiny back in, but no, there's a black hole waiting for you. And the Queen of Pain Orchid, the tracks, would have been a lot of kills going the way. Miracle just out of range of that dust.
Gives him a little bit of a love tap, but Miracle? Shuriken is going to be able to catch him out. Sonic Wave with the Orchid, still not enough burst damage though. Miracle will end up going down in the end.
Gets punished for the cocky play. Like, he's trying to just go for some style points there. There wasn't really any positive outcome for that. Just casual right-click blink away, and well, the negative outcome was there, and that was giving away his life. Good news is that Meepo has been dead for like 3 of the last 5 minutes of this game. I feel like Meepo's been dead. Died around the 21-minute mark, and died again now. That's like 3 minutes of downtime. At the key stage of the game for Cloud9, Meepo has been dead for more than half of it. That is a big problem for them.
A pickoff like that, and Liquids, they take over the game, but potentially take Roshan away from Cloud9, which you said is a very important item for Meepo to be able to dish out the game, go high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if Meepo dies one more time, it would be game over, but Cloud9 are going to just secure Meepo himself the ages before any more shenanigans or problems come their way. So, going to be a pretty safe Roche for them. Perhaps after this, Baby Knight's got the money for a BKB, so I don't see any reason to save the buyback. And the only item that they're close to they're missing is that sheep stick on Meepo, which might be worth considering waiting for. Have that Hex potential to find a quick pick.
Well, they've seen Miracle. He just ran into a counter ward. Now has track up. Ace comes in. Big magic burst damage, and GH couldn't save him in time, so probably going to get an extra kill. GH, less Naga Siren's going to come in. Going to help him out, Matu, or are you going to leave him to die? Let's see. He's getting close. That should be the tether into the sleep. Now the TP's away. Good, but still, loss of the Tiny. Fortunately, Song of Siren is level 3, so it'll be
no Octarine though, so could be dangerous. Mind Control doesn't have Deso, so he's not really posing a split push threat at top as far as taking a Rax here. If they want to force the high ground, this is 20 seconds, no Tiny, and even a bit longer without that sleep, so...
I go back and defend with one of his Meepos, push back creep wave.
Looks like he's going to bring all of them.
All his Meepos.
Yep. Has got the travel, so can quickly get back to the mid lane if he wants to, but does suggest that they're not going for that high ground play. Like, that very small window would have perhaps... I think it's one of those things where Cloud9 don't want to try and rush things because that's where they've been punished. But they have found consecutive pickups on Tiny, and it finally feels like they've caught wind of how Miracle's playing very deep on their side of the map, and they've finally set up traps for him. They've had sentry wards, they've managed to actually scout out his movements through the river, and that's been crucial as far as finding ways to kind of cement a lead for themselves.
Dealing with the constant Radiance illusions being spammed out at them. Fortunately, they've got the sustain Meister here with Heista Joe. Guards.
Pipe on the bounty too.
Liquid. They are bringing all their heroes. They're going to try and fight this one out. How do they play this? Do it go for a swap on one of the Meepos? Try and quickly isolate it and bring it down? Do they try and target Hesta Joe? Make sure there's no initiation?
I like the idea of taking out the Enigma first. That black hole is a big problem for them if they try and focus Meepo.
Poking at C9, but they are remaining full HP, not granting Liquid any real opportunities here, quickly killing the illusions. Mind Control's going to come in from the back lines, get the swarm out on those Meepos. Stop. Take out the bugs. That does kind of delay their retreat and brings them lower. Liquid still not feeling good with going for the Aegis here. They're going to actually get Baby Knight out of that one. GH, he's going to immediately be Sight the Vice, though. No opportunity for relocate. He was using it, too. The swap goes down, but Miracle's still slowed down. A Song of the Siren goes out from Matumba Man. That'll save both Kuro's life as well as Miracle's. And they also have the buyback now on GH to make sure the Miracles are fighting for it. Once again, goes for Ace, but he misses. Ace gets away with the poof just in time and keeps that Aegis intact for another 2 minutes.
That's crucial. Now they've got another opening to go high ground when Quap respawns. Miracle just keeps finding these openings. And this is where I talked about like the draft advantage for Cloud9. Liquid are going to have to outplay them, and that's what... I mean, there's been a few missteps here and there from Miracle, but for the most part, Liquid as a team have found great moments to outplay Cloud9, deal with the Aegis, and keep themselves in this game.
Oh, yeah, he actually gets in the way of Liquid, who are chasing down Hesta Joe, but now that gives time for Ace to be back into the play, gets mind control, locked in with the ensnares. He's going to be able to find Matumba Man, too. They need something to save him. Miracle comes in, looks for the toss back, doesn't get it, but the Song of Siren is up. Cloud9 did not have the disables to be able to stop that one, so
Enigma
another get up.
might die to the illusions. Okay, Meepo will bail him out. Whew.
Maybe not.
Suddenly...
The impact.
Yeah, I feel like his one thing he needed to do this game is just stay alive. And the Orchid, yeah, it found him like 1 kill maybe here or there, but if he just gone straight Aghanims, like Aghs BKB, like that to me is a totally fine build. Even getting, like, I wouldn't even care if he gone like a Hood or himself this game. Just anything to stay alive as a Quap is what you've got to do against a Tiny. Like, Meepo is going to do all the damage you need. The rest of the team just has to stay there and be bodies to protect him and get their spells off. And that's, like, there's fights where Enigma hasn't been able to get his spells off because he gets bursted, but more often than not, Baby Knight's been the one getting bursted as well. And I think just kind of being tunnel vision and just going for this key cut in a Quap build. It's like, oh, you know, you get the Orchid, you get a BKB if you need one, and that's, I think that's really backfired for Baby Knight.
Baby Knight does not realize how close to death he is. He runs into this Shadow Blade double damage Tiny. He will get bursted again and again. But Miracle, fortunately for Baby Knight, doesn't actually run into him right times. The Aegis is going to expire, but Cloud9, seen this from a couple times today now. The smoke up as the Aegis expires, looking to get aggressive with the enemy team, maybe letting up their guard just a bit. GH is going to be spotted out here. Shuriken onto Miracle. There goes an avalanche. Sonic Wave doesn't actually catch him, but the Black Hole will. Now the swap stops the Black Hole, looking for the relocate out, but that one's immediately stopped by a Malphus. Excellent play there from Hesta Joe. Now they've caught Kuro as well. They get the 2 supports, even if they can't get Miracle himself.
Yeah, they'll get the creep wave pushing up as well. Only 1 buyback on those 2 supports. See how much time and space Naga Siren can look to create. Is pressuring this bottom lane, but Meepo, one of the best heroes in the game, probably the best at dealing with split push. Even better than something like an Ember Spirit, able to just send his Meepos back there and just transport himself from mid to bottom back to mid at will. I don't think the Weaver and the Naga can pose a big enough kill threat as well to punish those Meepos in bottom lane. They're already back mid. No glyph. I don't think Liquid can defend this. They can try initiate and get some kills though.
Song up, BKB immediately activated by Baby Knight as the Song gets out of range, and Cloud9 will take that melee Rax. Weavers come back in a lane here. But Liquid, it seems like they were caught a little bit off guard by how quickly Cloud9 were able to push. If they were going to give up that Rax. Oh, Liquid, they try and jump forward, but now Miracle gets turned around by the Scythe of Ice. Here comes that big burst damage. Kuro bails him out once again with the swap. Mind control going for one of the Meepos in back lines. Can't lock him down. Pops a time lapse, but he's immediately ensnared up, and there's no saving hero now. Miracle comes in, tries to finish off Ace. They can't save mind control, but they will get Ace, and they'll get Noya as well. He gets the invis off, but an avalanche will cover him in shards. GH giving Miracle a little bit of a speed boost, seeing if they can actually catch Baby Knight. They get him with a Blink Toss. Echo Saber hits aren't quite enough to bring Baby Knight down. Blink away. Get out. Cloud9, they got the mid lane of Rax, yes, but it is getting later and later into this game. Miracle now has an Axe.
Yeah, that's one of those Raxes where it's like, well, you got the Rax, but is it too late of a Rax? It's kind of very borderline right now. The 1 Rax advantage against the Naga Tiny is not really going to be problematic for Liquid to deal with. The Aghs, the Naga illusions, they've got plenty of wave clear, and it's going to come down to Cloud9 finding some key kills. Once again, like that Rax very much set off, even though it's just supports, it just gives you this numbers advantage where suddenly Liquid are kind of trying to split push bottom. They're not really set up to defend, and you're able to just overwhelm them and take advantage of the fact that also the glyph was on cooldown. Bo just pushing and breaking those buildings a bit too fast to be responded to. God, Miracle's so aggressive with this position. Again, right outside the tier 3 towers, is looking for a kill. Doesn't find Rise, but see the danger that he poses there.
Seems to want to play these constant numbers advantages and turn it into sort of a constant narrative. A Miracle is always finding a kill, finding a pickoff, always making it cloud 9 or down a man. But C9 are grouped up. They're going to lose a lot of map control because of this, and it's going to take them a while to get these lanes under control. They may never be able to do it. A double damage Tiny beats down the tier 2 tower. They get a small initiation on him, force him back as Ace now revives. They get the track onto him. Maybe they can actually catch Miracle. C9 is looking for Matu though. They know that's an important hero. The BKB activated. Oh no, it turns against him. Now Miracle just beats him to a pulp. They get the stun onto Rise in the back lines. Noya as well as Ace are covered up in Swarm Bugs. Ace gets off a poof and gets a lot of damage onto Matu. I think he expected Matu to try and get out, but now Matu's covered up in the black hole. They've caught mind control as well. Ace has actually turned this fight properly, gets out with a lower health Meepo, while the rest of the Meepos take down Miracle. GH, who used the relocate earlier, and trying to help out with a black hole, is going to be sent right back from whence he came into the track. Liquid lose 3.
Ooh, dangerous. No buyback on Tiny. Naga preemptively buying back, trying to scare away a push, saying like, all right, maybe if I buy back, they won't even go for the push because they'll be scared of the Tiny buyback. But Cloud9 know Tiny just picked up the axe, so probably can make an assumption that there's at least like a 50% chance he might not have it, so it's worth testing the waters here. Because without Tiny, I think this buyback, this defense is very difficult on the high ground. They need his burst damage to pose a threat. It was like him bursting down the Quap during some of the earlier pushes, being able to burst down an Enigma. That's where Liquid really struggles. So when one of those kind of heroes gets taken out early on, and we'll see what Matu can do to delay things. He may just have to, casual sleep. Don't think this is to set up an initiation. I think this is just to buy time. It is luckily still available as well.
Right, be able to get a little damage on the tier 3s while all this is happening, but Ace to quickly eat up this melee Rax, and the Tiny is just not going to be up fast enough to save that building, but maybe they can still catch something. Kuro's getting in position to throw out the swap, gets the stun onto Ace, but Imperial Blade from one of the other Meeples helps saves him, poofs backwards. BKBs on both Hester Joe and Baby Knight. Hester Joe's going to be the one caught in the ensnare. Miracle, he knows he needs more. They've lost 2 melee Raxes. They can't afford to leave out this fight without multiple kills. They've got a double kill onto one. They took out Hester Joe. They try to go for relocate forward to find the rest, but Ace is already out.
Yeah, we're seeing Cloud9, they're kind of actually now becoming what they were in Game 1, a cooldown-dependent team. This black hole threat is becoming more and more important for winning the team fights for them. Being able to stop the sleep coming up, being able to lock down a Tiny. That last fight with the black hole caught just 2 heroes, but it was also done at a time where there wasn't a Venge swap. It had already been used earlier on in the fight, so the BKB black hole, very potent, and I imagine the next time he wants to go for is a Lincoln Sphere, because then he can go for that black hole even when swap is available, as well as the ensnare. So if he can get a Lincoln Sphere, they'll have to throw both those 2 spells like at the same time to cancel, and chances are a Naga may be caught in the black hole, so we'll see what Liquid can do. They want to strike back with this Aegis.
That big team fight pickup, because Miracle now going to threaten a lane of Rax of his own here. Takes the tier 3, pushes straight for the range, thinking that they can just get this range Rax and maybe out. GH will cover him potentially with a relocate, or Matumba Man with the song. Miracle still needs a little bit of help though. He is going to lose that Aegis, and they've actually just stranded out with multiple heroes. Both the saving heroes are now gone, and Miracle is going to have to try and find his own way out of this one. Gets a blink out, has Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger up in 5 more seconds, but Baby Knight duke this one out. No, he tries to hide in the trees, gets the stun onto Baby Knight, buys himself a little bit more time for the blink. He gets up, Baby Knight blinks to the wrong side, he turned left, and Miracle, he's hiding a little bit farther up in the trees. He has a TP in his backpack.
It's gonna work.
He's good.
He did have buyback, so it wouldn't have been game over, but how does he juke that? That is some insane play and composure in what looks like an impossible position for him to survive. That was a really good call from Baby Knight. Like that was the best play he's made all game, and makes up for some of, I think, his earlier shortcomings. Going for that BKB burst onto the Tiny, knowing that Liquid's trying to Song TP out, and once everyone's Song TP'd out, he's respawning out of the Aegis completely alone, so Miracle somehow outplays the entire Cloud9 team to get out of there still. A clutch play from him.
They could have had 2 heroes with no buyback on the side of Liquid, and that would have been
is under
beginning
attack.
of the end in just 3 minutes time. Any time during that 3 minutes, if they force a fight and win it, probably over.
And that's just the thing. Forcing Miracle's buyback at this point is half the battle, and well, yeah, gonna find Baby Knight double damage.
Yeah, the wave of terror on top of that too. Physical damage is not.
Oh boy. Maybe time to split push, because I don't know about fighting and defending into this tiny.
They're still gonna found.
Okay, that's a useful pickoff. Makes this tiny not quite as scary. It means if you kill him and bring him down, he will be permanently dead. We may see something like an IO buyback if Tiny dies, though, and you could relocate both back into the fight, go for some kind of game-winning play. Joe.
Now Ace, he's gonna burst him down almost. They actually get the song, but they don't have any BKB plays this time around with the Queen of Pain dead for 30 seconds. Sleep TP out will be successful.
Cloud9 defending their high ground very well. It's been some of like their middle of the map play that has been a bit more questionable, where they split up, giving a lot of pickoffs to Miracle, but when they've gone for these high ground defenses, even their high ground pushes have been a lot more polished, and now they put themselves in a position where they buy time for the Queen of Pain respawn. Fortunately, Miracle does get away, and they're not going to be able to force out any kind of a buyback from him, but still, I'd give them like a very slight advantage with where this game currently stands. Mostly because of the Enigma factor. Like, this black hole is going to be probably the deciding factor as this game goes on, and if he can farm a Lincoln, which he's not far away from, there's not going to be any good counters to Hestejo.
When do we start getting late BKB? Ever? Is black hole just too much? Is there too much hold? And
I don't think against Meepo, BKB doesn't offer a whole lot. If he gets the Blink Hex on you, you die fast, and the Geostrike slow is kind of what's going to cripple you. Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, I don't think it helps Tiny fight into the Meepo really at all.
He's more reliant on the whip.
Yeah, I don't really think this is a BKB game for them so much. For other Cloud9 heroes, it could be, but I mean, they're two cores in Enigma. Quap already have one. Meepo's not a BKB hero, so I think CM BKB could be quite good. Around that level 3 freezing field, you could see that become a high impact spell later on in the game. It's a pretty big slow, both mid and attack speed, that Tiny Naga has to kind of fight into. And if they're going to be so
charge the song.
Yeah, and they're going to be so tunnel visioned on stopping this black hole that there's a good chance Rise can kind of go unnoticed in the side with like a BKB freezing field and then get off a lot of damage.
Shows up right underneath Miracle and his Shadow Blade. All these illusions are causing problems to the other heroes. The C9 Hestejo runs to Ace for cover. Wait, are they going to try and force this one outside their base? With this many heroes, it seems like a bad call, and yeah, they're going to back away with most of them. Miracle's, of course, going to do Miracle things. He's going to go in deeper, see if he can find that extra pick off else.
As you do. Yeah. As you do. Not sure if they have another gem available in their shop. It might be on cooldown, because it does feel like Cloud9 really need to rebuy one as soon as possible. Late game Dota against any kind of invis gem just becomes a necessity. You don't want to rely solely on sentry wards. Bounty Hunter having a gem seems like the ideal scenario, but he wants his Hex first, and that's a big late game pickup for a support bounty. That is some decent farm on him. And definitely where the BKBs you mentioned become more appealing. It was a Crystal Maiden there.
Or Ace. So good to defend top. The rest of C9 trying to threaten this mid push, but it's coming in on all sides. It's only Ace who's able to push out just a little bit in the bottom lane, but that's already being cut by some fusions.
This butterfly tiny
song entrance.
Are they going on the
they can get the quick melee racks, but all they're going to do is force the glyph. They're going to TP out on Matsu. They do have the track onto the Tiny. They also get a lot of damage onto the tier 3 at the same time. They are going to be able to get at least Matsu there.
They're trying to get the top immediately. Venge's trying to suicide for it, and they'll get it with the Weaver. Meanwhile, Tiny's back in bottom.
All right, they're just going to try and force Megas here with the death on the Naga side. They're going to be able to get the range racks at bottom. Miracle's already taken out 1 and 2. There goes Megas. Liquid and a swift maneuver, despite losing Matumpa Man, are going to be able to force Megas here, except for, oh shit, the melee rack still. And they've caught GH in the bottom. turn. Miracle fighting up against a nice use of the Ethereal Blade, able to save the Meepo that's low HP. Miracle now tries to hit a different Meepo, goes for another one. He needs a little bit more. He gets it in the end. Miracle is tanking enough. A buyback onto GH to help out Miracle here with the Scythe of Ice going in. They have a relocate back, but he needs 5 more seconds. They're going to try and kill Miracle first. Oh, they're trying to burst him down. Couple more seconds. GH gets him out. They couldn't go. They tried to go for Miracle first. They thought they could actually burst him down instead of killing GH.
This is like the Cloud9 late game panic sinking in. Like that IO was such a free kill for them, but like you say, they thought they had Miracle. Like in their minds, they could get that kill. The butterfly with the evasion, as well as just having 3k HP, meant he could survive through it all. And boy, oh boy, the Cloud9 suddenly find themselves in like a what the hell just happened kind of position. Also, Enigma, he solo black holed the Weaver. I really do not. He buys the refresher post this, and he actually doesn't go for the link because I like this better given the state of this game right now. But I don't know about using that black hole for a Weaver.
Rough now, but Tubba Man gonna split up the map, slowly but surely chip away at this melee racks, and he may even be able to overpower the regen at this point. The amount of illusions and the amount of damage they're outputting. Miracle, he could always jump in and just suicide on it, but he does not have, or he does have buyback. It's Matu and GH who do not. Just.
And the threat of the refresher is probably enough for the Tiny not to just go for the high ground. The black hole's on cooldown for now, but you're like, okay, has Enigma used the refresher? Or are we up for a potential double black hole soon? Like, this Hestejo Enigma is going to be a big problem, and ideally the #1 target you want to go on, because that can be the game-winning play for Cloud9. One team fight where you kill the Naga and then you just go all in for the throne.
I thought Cloud9 had actually dealt really well with that strategy. That was a cool attempt, right? By Liquid, they sleep, they catch all these heroes, and then they just swarm in on the side lanes. But they had Glyph, Hot Montu, and I was like, damn, they did it. But then the push still happened in the side lanes, and they're just left with 1 melee racks away from Megas.
And I just feel like limited options as far as Cloud9 go now. They are the ones constantly on the high ground defense. That lone Rax cannot be left alone. And I mentioned Miracle can just fight his way through the backdoor protection if he wants to. There's still no Glyph even, so it's really just the potential black hole that he's worried about. But the other counterplay for that is that relocate save. If you can time that right, you can pull your Tiny out of there. But Liquid are looking for a jump onto Meepo or Enigma, so they don't have to fight that black hole.
Fly activated around the side. There is a counter ward though. Miracle done with the nighttime. Find a quick entrance here, but it looks like they're going to bounce out here and try and get mind control on the side here. Noya's been spotting him out. Baby Knight may have the burst damage, or maybe not. They're actually going into mid lane. They've got that melee racks. Ace is trying to finish him off, but Miracle already gets the Force Staff away, and now mind control is actually turning against Baby Knight. Baby Knight tries to get the blink out. BKB activated will keep him alive, but Liquid, they've already done the damage needed. They don't have buybacks on some of these heroes, so they don't risk anything. They take that melee racks, they force Megas, and get out rather cleanly. Nobody gets picked off there.
Well, Megas is not game over, but game very difficult now, as I don't think you can just sit back totally if you're Cloud9. I mean, there's a potential Aegis if Liquid really want to play safe and pick that up for themselves. They don't really have, I guess Miracle could drop like his Echo Saber for it, but these lanes are going to be pushing in never-endingly. Like the Naga illusions just go to all 3 lanes. It's not just Naga illusions, there's Mega Creeps. You're going to be defending for days, so at some point Cloud9 have to make an aggressive play. And the problem was, when they made that aggressive play out of their base, they had to leave a couple heroes behind, and it was just the Queen of Pain and the Bounty Hunter with his Hex trying to go on the Weaver, but Weaver had the survivability to escape and survive thanks to the Butterfly more than anything.
Alright, Ace's in-game items, he's been shifting it up a little bit. He now has the Bloodthorn. He was thinking about the Heart earlier, but the Bloodthorn, he thinks, will be enough for them to be able to tear apart the Weaver, Naga, or Tiny if they could just get on top of him.
Oh, double damage. This is like, I was about to say, I don't think Liquid even have to fight this. They could just go for the base trade, and with the double damage, Tiny's like, yo, Io, where you at? Let's go for some tier 4s.
Exactly what they're going to go for. Roshan is going to be a quick pickup here for Ace and the boys.
Yeah. Aegis on Hestejo, possibly. Yep.
Jeez. Push now comes back in.
Miracle's now gone back to the BKB against like the Maleficent Midnight Pulse. He's probably just thinking like, I can just secure some of these buildings, or at least force a black hole to be thrown through BKB hitting buildings.
Gold maintaining his vigilance here on the left-hand side, while the Tiny Wisp at bottom. Looks like they're going to try and go on Ace while the rest of his team is in middle. We don't quite get a full-on swap initiation or anything like that, so Miracle just takes a Shrine and out, seeing if they can force the members of C9 that are mid back to the base.
Bit of money for everyone, but too big a deal, and yeah, this is going to be a slow death by 1,000 cuts if Cloud9 don't find some kind of opening soon. Problem is the buybacks are going to be the big problem. Like, you win a fight off of a black hole, well, suddenly Liquid have everyone back alive, and that black hole or
Rise, a Glimmer Cape, surprisingly enough, is actually keeping him alive, but he finally does get scouted out. Now Kuro's going to be threatened here. Has to Joe moving forward. Baby Knight actually blinking up. They're trying to make this work, but now Tiny's jumped onto Ace in the bottom lane, but he's actually getting turned around on. Bounces away. Ace is going to send all of his meepos up to the farther top lane, while the rest of C9 have to back away from that mid engagement. Now Liquid back away from bottom. Managed to blink out from Kuro ahead of that Shadow Strike, while going in deep as Mind Control picks up the kill onto Noya, allowing Miracle a slim bit of time to hit on that tier 4 tower. Bit of damage done as he bounces back with another Blink Dagger. Now Liquid, Wolves closing in on all sides against Cloud9 members. As to Joe, goes for the BKB, attempt to blink out, but can't actually get anything here with the swarm on him. This is going to be a BKB wasted. He does have the refresher to use, as well as that first black hole. Baby Knight attempts to get a hold onto Miracle. Once again, a blink out, no holds. All the blink daggers remaining up. Mega Creep streaming in, and tier 4's under duress. Hesta Joe hoping to be able to tank most of this up. Kuro takes his opportunity to jump onto him, forcing that Aegis down, and they do get the pop onto GH God. But now Liquid have used the Song of Siren, holding things as in. Cloud9 have to deal with the Mega Creeps first, while Liquid try and recover. Baby Knight almost dies to Megas. Now Hesta Joe's going to be jumped on by Miracle. Managed to burst him down. Buyback is up, and he still has those black holes ready to go. The Sight device in, but one of Ace's meepos are actually quite low. He has to get away from these Megas. They're too much of a threat. Baby Knight doesn't have the level 25, so the Blade Mail isn't going to save him. The black hole comes in, but is it too late? He gets the refresher, the swap off. He needs another big black hole, but he can't quite get it. Batu trapped on the right-hand side, slowed down. Here comes an avalanche and another black hole, but it catches nothing but Megas. Ace, he's battling up against Matu and Miracle. He's actually getting the damage done. He's killed Matu. He's killed Miracle. Somehow Cloud9 with a one-man, 2 black holes have only managed to kill 2 cores. Liquid have the buybacks necessary, but Cloud9 are going to hold for now against the Mega Creeps.
This game will go on, and I don't know how they do it, but even without the black holes, they managed to pull that fight. I'm just watching Hester that entire time. He's going to beetle on him. He's surrounded by Mega Creeps with the Aegis. He was trying so damn hard to find a black hole opening, but Liquid were just split up, positioning such that nothing was available. And in the end, it's just Ace on that Meepo having what he needs to continue fighting. And Ace didn't even have to buy back. He's still got 2 lives to play around, which is probably one of the more impressive things. He's swapping out more items, now goes back for a Silver Edge. This is, and I was wondering if the Queen of Pain would get, just because that Craggy on the Tiny is so difficult for him to deal with. Now he can Shadow, he can Silver Edge in. One of the
They're
Tiny.
actually gonna go buyback here. This is an opportunity though for Cloud9 with buybacks being used like this.
I really like the plays available to Meepo now with this Silver Edge. Like Silver Edging in on the Tiny, breaking that Craggy, and then you can Bloodthorn him to get rid of the evasion. You can Hex him as well. He can basically disable all of Tiny's itemization.
Baby Knight has already blown the cheese, and again, Mind Control goes for him, bringing him down to half health. Kuro's been sitting in the trees this whole entire time, but Cloud9 say enough is enough. They're gonna force it, and here comes the reload. Liquid are just gonna try and dance around them. They go straight for the tier 4s. Mind Control easily has enough damage to be able to beat down these tier 4s rather quickly and go for the throne. Hestujo is left alone against this to try and put a stop to all of this, but it's just not gonna happen. The glyph goes down. Song of Siren on the other side, so Cloud9 aren't getting any damage done to the buildings. Mass TP's back. Mind Control's gonna try and finish this up with the help of Miracle and the BKB. Clean Liquid finally do it. They finally close out this game 2 against Cloud9, an ultimate rat affair. They get it done in true fashion. Alliance Woodbrow.
Whew. Yeah, Cloud9 made them work for it in the end with all that Mega Creeps, but yeah, it was Liquid who really had to scrap their way into this game. I mean, it was a very Cloud9 driven strategy, and it was Liquid who had to respond to it and constantly react. First in the draft with the Tiny pick, which I don't think any other pick could have really done what Miracle did this game. It was definitely the perfect pick for the draft as far as being a